Hey guys, Matt Science here, and today I am back for day number 11 of r/SupernovaRevenge. I'm only going to be doing 3 more episodes of this, so just bear with me as I try to find the stories to get through it all. Today I have 2 stories lined up, and well, I can't really say anything good about them. First up, girls get revenge on a rapist, his cop friends, and family. And it ends in death. Because that's what most of these posts are. This story may or may not have happened the way I tell it, as I wasn't involved in it, but I got the story from several people who were involved. I had to guess some gaps in the timeline, so it may seem a bit unreal. I couldn't believe it myself at first, but a few good friends told me they were involved, so I guess readers should decide for themselves. I went to college in the late 1990s, and this story has some urban legend in campus. Or was some urban legend in campus. I thought so myself until I met a few frat girls older than me who swore it really happened. Okay, after this long intro, here is the story. In the early 1990s, this little college wasn't the best, not at all. Some girls had to pay their tuition and living by working as dancers, or as you might say, adult entertainment industry. There was a guy who would always forget where to stop, harass the girls, touch where he shouldn't. You know the type. The touchy-feelies. Uncle Touchy. There are too many of these guys. Usually the bouncer would kick him out, and but the girls would forget about it. But the girls remembered and hated working when he came in. It could have been all the story until one day this guy was too drunk and too stupid. He got himself kicked out again, and thought he would get what he wanted anyway. He waited in the parking lot until the girls would finish a shift to get to the girl he wanted and jump her. Luckily, the bouncer noticed him and told the girls to get out from the back door, and he called the police. Police patrol car came in. The cop said he would talk to the guy, but wouldn't do anything because nothing has happened yet. The girls were upset and started talking about that. They found out that the guy was kicked from every club in town, even the cheapest, shortest holes, where he paid the girls with drugs. Which led to another discovery. The guy was a drug dealer on the street, a real lowlife. The girls decided to protect themselves and asked another student to teach them some self-defense moves. This student, call her Susie, was ex-military, as far as everybody knew. Not because she talked about it, she didn't, but because some students were working in management building, and they found she was on a full scholarship from some government agency, and the government doesn't just go and pay to anybody, so it figured she did something to earn it. Susie was about 25 at the time, but only started first year, while everyone in that year were 18 to 21. She was doing something else for that many years. Anyway, Susie agreed to teach them, and lessons started. In the third lesson, one of the girls came with a black eye and told everyone the lessons helped her, as the guy actually jumped her last night, and she managed to escape him. She tried complaining to the police, but had the feeling they would do anything. That was how Susie heard the whole story and decided to put an end to it too. She started to investigate and found the guy was indeed a drug dealer and found his spot. He was fighting his competitors by snitching on them to a police detective, so he had some protection from the police. She then investigated further on the police detective, found that he had a 20 years old son and his brother-in-law was also a cop, uniformed squad policeman. That son was famous for getting into troubles. He and his buddies would come to a club, get drunk, harass girls, start fights, and get the police called on them, and miraculously get out of it with no charges. Now, the revenge. Susie asked 3 girls to take a night off to help her. That night, they got dressed out and went to a bar downtown. They drank, but not too much, flirted a lot, made themselves remembered. At 11 PM or so, Susie left them at the bar and had a friend drive her to the drug dealer's spot. He was still there, getting ready to pack and go. She went down from the car some distance from him, walked towards his ally like she is drunk. Oh, alley. She entered the alley, ignoring him. He came after her, angry, shouting at her to get out. She acted like she wanted to pee, and he probably thought, what a pretty woman drunk in his alley. Maybe that's his chance. He got close to her, and from her hip she drew a knife and stabbed him right in the neck. Oh, damn! Damn, girl! He felt like a sack, and while he bled there, she looked for his stash and found it. Took half his drugs and a gun. She came over with the gun, shot him twice in the chest and 1 to the head, pro execution style. Then she left the alley back to the car, taking the bloody knife, the gun, and the drugs with her. Wait. That's not the end of the story. A couple of weeks past that, she heard the bully's son has entered the club where a few of her friends were working that night. She got there before he got kicked out and went for his car. She broke in and left the drugs on the front seat and the gun on the back seat. The knife was thrown, still with blood stains on, in the trunk. The gun and knife was now fingerprint clean, of course. Sure enough, police was called, and when they got there, they knew who he was. It was a family matter now, so they just detained him until his father or uncle would get there. The uncle got there first in his cruise car and took him aside to have a talk. They walked to his car, where the cop uncle could have not seen the drugs or the gun. Sure enough, he flipped his short on the guy, slapped him in the parking lot where everyone could see the son was still in cuffs. Uncle took the gun and drugs, wrapped them in evidence bag, and tossed it in his cruiser. The son was released home to his very angry dad. The uncle got back to his station to find out he was temporarily relieved of duty. The station got 10 phone calls from people who saw him slap a man in cuffs. Big screw up. Worse than that, the next cop who came into the police car found undocumented evidence in it. Drugs, murder-related gun, and guess whose fingerprints were on the gun? Uncle was now a murder suspect, and the only way he could be out of it is by telling where the gun really came from. It would still get him fired, but not the murder suspect. Or so he thought. They found the knife with the blood in the son's car, except it wasn't the son's. It was registered for the father, the detective, the one that the late drug dealer was his snitch, the one that heard he was murdered and just shrugged and said, nah, just another piece of short. No one cares. So now he was a murder suspect too. It's a murder mystery now. Finally, we get to the end. These 2 corrupted cops went away for a long time. The son didn't have police protection anymore. For a while, he behaved nice, or didn't get in any troubles, but eventually got back to his old ways. And 3 months later, he was charged for assault at the bar, and went away for a while too. Susie left after that term to study somewhere else. Nobody heard from her after that. The girls involved sworn to never talk about it. Obviously, they didn't keep it. I met a few of them in a reunion, and over too much happy liquids, they happily remembered how one rapist a-hole got what he deserved. At least it wasn't the balls. Like, last episode we had a viper biting a guy in the balls. Or the groin area. And 2 episodes before that we had a kick to the balls. I'm just glad we didn't have a knife to the balls. Or a gunshot to the balls. Or just anything related to the balls. Because apparently the balls are a prime target. I might not have time for the other story, so I'll save it for the next episode. I'm gonna be ending this episode here. Links will be in the description to my main channel and also the second channel for you guys to go check out. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when next video comes out. A ding, a ding. I'm the Mad Scientist. Mad Scientist out.